Hi, welcome. Now I'm going to show you how to solve a assignment problem in Excel workbook. Okay, so for that purpose I'm going to use the add-in solver to solve the problem. Okay, so first we will see what is the problem. We have a construction company having 4 bulldozers and 4 construction sites. Okay, the bulldozers are very big, so and and at least not at least one bulldozer has to move to one construction site. Okay, so we have 4 bulldozers. So for each bulldozer we have given the distance between the actual current location of the bulldozer and if it needs to go to the construction A, how much distance it has to travel. Okay, so if you see, there are four there are totally 16 distances as given. Okay, so each bulldozer has to go to at least go to a site. Okay, move to a site. So so the 4 bulldozers, the total distance traveled by the 4 bulldozers has to be minimized. So our objective here is how should the bulldozers be moved to the construction sites in order to minimize the total distance traveled. Okay, so which bulldozer has to go to which site so that the distance traveled by all the 4 bulldozers will be minimum. Okay, so this is the problem, and so it is the distance are given here. For this one is first bulldozer and the site A, how much is the distance it has to travel in kilometers. So for the site for the site B, the first bulldozer and the site B, the distance is 75 kilometers it has to travel. So if you see this list, obviously the for the first bulldozer, site B or site C may be the best choice to select to travel lesser travel distance. Okay, similarly we will optimize for all the 4 bulldozers distance. Okay, the first thing here is we need to to get a proper result, and the success of the solving assignment problem is that you need to know how you are formulating the problem into the Excel worksheet. Okay, if you put it in a proper way, then it will be very easier to solve it in the solver. Okay, all you need to do is first to formulate the problem properly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I just telling you step by step how to formulate the problem into Excel worksheet, so that it will be very clear for you when you are using the solver. It will be what is the objective function and what are all the constraints you need to add in there. Okay, so and what are the variables you are going to find it. Okay, so let's start. What I'm going to do is I just copy the same thing and okay, or we will type it so that it won't be any confusion. Bulldozers. So our first step is to find out what are the variables you are going to optimize. Okay, what is one is the objective function, second is the variables you are going to find it so that the distance will be less. Okay, so what I have is and site. Okay, now I have obviously 1 2 3 and 4. Similarly for okay, we have given the okay, we have given all 4 sites and 4 bulldozer. You put the same format here. Okay, now these are all the cells you want to assign. This one gives you the this one gives you the distance. Now what we are going to do is we are doing variables, the actual okay. So what are the variables? Actually these are all the cells in between is the variables. Why? Because we are going to put assign a bulldozer to a site. Okay, how we are going to assign? This is, for example, these are all variables. You assume this is the variable. This is the bulldozer 1 2 okay, we put it this way: site 1 and bulldozer 1, site 2 which is B2 and B, and bulldozer 1 C, and bulldozer 1 and D, and bulldozer 1. Similarly you know the see. Okay, this all the variables we are going to find. Okay, A1 B1 C1 D1, A2 B2 C2 D2, A3 B3 C3 D3, F4 B4 C4 D4. These are all the variables involved in this problem. Okay, these variables we are going to put it into we are going to add the values. We are going to assign for example, if you are assigning bulldozer 1 to A, site A, then this A1 is 1. Okay, and once you assign this one to A, then you cannot assign again to B, C, D. So this value is supposed to be 0 and D is 0. Okay, you understand? So this is the actual variables. Okay, I just label it. I'm going to remove the label, and you know this is the variables part. Okay, and initially I put all of them as 0. Okay, the initial set is 0. So this is the variable part. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I just define a name for this. Assignment variables. Okay, similarly for this range is this is what called distance. Okay, these values are distance. These values are the actual assignment variables values. Okay, this is the one you are going to let the Excel to play with to optimize. Okay, it will keep assigning 1 or 0. Okay, in these cells. So these are all the values I put. Actually, what are the cells? The label of this is A1 for our purpose. For Excel, what it is B3. Okay, B3. Then this one is C8, and this one is D8. Okay, you no need to worry because the values is going to come here, so you no need to worry. So now so the value is going to come here, so you no need to worry about what is the label of these variables. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I just go here to put the constraints. Okay, so constraints going to be here, because for constraint for bulldozer 1, constraint for bulldozer 2, something like that is going to come here. Okay, so what is the constraint for here is going to be, see, the site 1, site 2, site 3 and site 4. Okay, what is these constraints actually? For the bulldozer 1 can be assigned to only one site, right? So it cannot assign to B and C. It can either in B or in C. That means you can assign to only one site. That means it can be either assigned or not assigned. Assigned we put 1, not assigned is 0. Okay, so it is either 1 or 0. Same time, when you add for all the sites, all the 4 sites for bulldozer 1, it has to be only it has to be, if you add all the assignments for the bulldozer 1, it has to be 1, because it can assign to only one site. Enter sum ABCD. Okay, sum of all these assignments of bulldozer 1. Left hand side is you are calculating the sum, right hand side it has to be 1. Okay, so I'm splitting the constraints into left hand side and right hand side. Okay, left hand side I calculate using the formula, right hand side it has to be 1. Similarly for next bulldozer 2. Okay, all the bulldozer 2 sum has to be also 1. Similarly for 1 and 1. Okay, similarly for constraint 4, which is bulldozer 4. Okay, what is this error? Formula omits adjacent cells. Okay, because B8 to E8, B8 to E8, yes. So there is no wrong in the formula. Ignore the error. Okay. There is no error in the formula. It's a warning. Okay, this is a constraint for each bulldozer. Similarly, put the constraints for each site. It is also the similar. When you one of 4 bulldozers are there, when you assign a site to a bulldozer, you can assign only once, and a site can be assigned to only one bulldozer, and the assignment is variables are 1 or 0. So the left hand side is also is similar to sum of all this. Okay, I'll put sum of Okay, if you add all the values, all the assignments of site A, it has to be only 1. Okay, similarly for up to D, it also for site B also 1. If you add site C also 1, site D also 1. Okay, this is the way you can formulate the constraints. Now you have another constraint also, which is all these values has to be, variable values has to be 1 or 0. Okay, that is another constraint. So this the thing you need to remember. You should not forget all these values has to be 1 or 0. Okay, now what we are going to do is the objective function. Okay, in objective function, what we are going to do, what is the objective here? To minimize the total distance traveled. How we are going to minimize this? All the distance is available here. We need to minimize the distance. Before that, what is going to be the distance? Distance is nothing but, if bulldozer 1, whatever the assignment here, for example we are assigning this one, and side B to this, side C to this, and side D we are assigning the bulldozer 4, then the distance is going to be 1 into this, 1 into this, 1 into this, 1 into this, and all the other variables also we need to do the same thing, but the value is 0, so those distance is going to be 0. Only those assigned distance will be added and find out what is the total distance traveled. So the thing here is that the objective function is every coefficient has to be, every distance has to be multiplied by the assignment. It could be 1 or 0. If it is assigned, you will get that distance. If it is not assigned, then you will get only 0. Okay, and add all those distances. Okay, that is the full total distance going to be based on the assignments, and then we are going to minimize that one. So objective is minimize, and what is the total distance? Okay, for that what you can do is you can straight away multiply this A distance into the assignment variable plus this distance bulldozer 1 B distance into the assignment variable, like this, so on for all the assignment variables and distance. But this one is going to be bit lengthy, so what we are going to do is we usually use the sum product function available by Excel, so minimize our manual work. So okay, sum product, and what we are going to do is the distance into coefficient variables. I already told you we are not going to do it manually, we are using the function, and for that function what I am going to do is I just use those coefficients into assignments. So what the sum product is doing is it is multiplying the overall distance if you give two ranges, some product will multiply each value, each individual cells, the two two ranges or names or arrays has to be in the same order. If you give this 4 by 4 and again 4 by 4, it will take each individual cell and multiply that one, and finally it will add the full sum. Okay, every result it will add and it will give a overall sum of each individual cells or multiplied. Okay, so here what is our array? The first array is the distances. You see, already we defined the distance already in a predefined name. So this name is coming here, this checkbox, or you can find our own name ranges. So once you start typing it, come distance, and the other our set is the variable set. This one also we already have a assignment variables. Okay, enter. So it will give you the multiplication of each individual cells here in distance and the variables, and give the overall sum. Okay, so I just put everything 0 here. So we more or less we formulated the problem into the Excel tables. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to solve this problem using a solver. Okay, where is the solver? Solver is in data here in analyze group. Okay, if you don't find the solver, how you can add it? Okay, I will show you. First I will remove this, go to add in. Okay, if you go to data, you don't find any solver add in here. What you can do is you can go to file, option, add-ins, Excel add-ins here, go. You'll have all the add-ins available, so just click on the respective solver, respective add-in need to be added, then put OK, then the add-in will be coming here. For solver case, it will put the add-in in the data tab, and it's the group called analyze. Okay, so once you added the solver here, what you need to do is you go to you go here, the solver. Objective cell must be a single cell on the active sheet. This one is because this message warning is because I already used this solver for other problems, so it is telling that already something is there in the solver. You need to clear it off. Okay, you clear it off, set it all, reset all. Okay, close. Now again I will click OK. Now you don't have any message. Okay, now what I am going to do is I just see the objective function. I am setting the objective now. Set objective. What is our objective? Is to minimize this cell. What is this cell? Is the sum product of the distance as well as the assignments, is the total distance. Okay, what we are going to do, we are going to minimize the distance, overall distance. Okay, what are the changing variables, which are the assignment variables, which is already here, right? This is the changing variables. Okay, this the variables, it is going to put 1 or zeros. So first what you need to do is you need to add the constraints. Okay, adding constraints, we already formulated the right hand side and left hand side of the constraints here. So what you need to do is you add the first constraint equal to, left hand side is the bulldozer 1's constraint. If you add all the assignments of bulldozer 1, it has to be 1. Okay, 1. And second, again you are going to click on the second cell. If you add all the bulldozer 2, it has to be 1. Add. So this way you can start adding the constraints. It will come for every constraint 1 1 1. Okay, for but you need to do it for every bulldozer and every set. It is going to be tedious and lengthy if you have 100 sites and 100 bulldozers. Okay, for that purpose what we can do is we can simply, instead of adding one by one, what you can do is you add the constraint by this way, overall reference. Okay, so a set, the full set of bulldozer constraints, the range, this cell range equal to you can straight away put 1, or you can also put this range. And similarly for this LHS, all the LHS equal to all the RHS set. Okay, you added this one. Now what we are going to do is we have another constraint. All the assignment variables has to be 0 or 1, either you assign or not assign. Okay, so how to do that one? Add. Okay, all the assignment variables 0 or 1 is binary, either 0 or 1. You select binary, put OK. So you added all the assignment variables are binary, either 0 or 1. Okay, once you selected these constraints, what you need to do is make unconstrained variables non-negative. Okay, do we have unconstrained variables? If we have, those will be treated as non-negative, but we have all the variables are involved in constraint. Okay, now we have 3 things here. Which method to use to solve this assignment problem? We usually use evolutionary method to solve this problem. You can see all GRG nonlinear is for the problems, this engine for solver problems that are smooth nonlinear. Select LP for simplex engine for linear solver problems. Okay, LP models. And select evolutionary engine for non-smooth. Okay, we are selecting a evolutionary method. Once we set all the values here, all the constraints and the objective function and what are the assignment variables, everything is done here. So now we are ready to set to solve the problem. Okay, I press solve. Let's wait and see what is the solution. Since it's running, that means whatever objective function and the variables we have given, it's in this right format. That is for syntax wise, but we don't know whether it is right for logical, so you must be very careful when you formulate the problems. Okay, just wait for some time. It is doing its iterations and optimize the result. Okay, now it has come with the result. Solver cannot improve the current solution. That means it's already found a solution and it cannot improve the solution, and all constraints are satisfied. Okay, what I am going to do is I am going to do some outline reports. Okay, before going to report, you see it already assigned the values. Okay, fourth bulldozer to site A, third bulldozer to site B, second bulldozer to site C, and first bulldozer to site D. Okay, it already assigned the values, assigned each bulldozer to the site, and also it also telling what it has done, the total distance. By this way you will get only 275 kilometers. Okay, so you need to move the bulldozer 4 to site A, bulldozer 3 you can move it to site B, bulldozer 2 to site C, and bulldozer 1 to site D. This way you can move it to you can move all the bulldozer in a minimum total distance traveled by all the bulldozers. Okay, what is in the report? You can see what is the engine it used, how much the time it is taken, how many iterations of sub problems, and what is the final value of the objective function, what it has done, and variables, what are the variables it's assigned, what are the values to the assignment variables. Okay, the variables are given here. And what is the constraints it used, and finally what is the formula for the constraints. Okay, so all of them are here. You can go through the report and see, and other reports also available. You can click on all the reports and see whether what are the information on the reports. Okay, this way you can solve a assignment problem, and our objective to minimize, you can also maximize the assignment also. In case when if you are assigning something to something and getting more sales, that means if you are assigning a salesman to different sites and getting more output or process in terms of sales, or in terms of monetary benefits or something like that, then it will become a maximizing problem. Okay, so hope this video is helpful to you. I hope you like the video, and also please, if you like the video, you press like button, also subscribe to my channel, also leave your comments as well as any suggestions, you leave it there. Also any specific problems you want to solve, you leave it there, so that I will try to solve and upload a video. Okay, have a great day. See you on the next video, and God bless you.